folks. Welcome to another episode of Forgotten Knowledge. At the height of the COVID epidemic here 3 or 4 years ago, seems like hundreds of thousands of people across this country decided that they wanted to become backyard farmers and get them a few chickens to provide eggs that were scarce at that time. A lot of cities even waived their ordinances or adopted new ones to allow people who lived in urban areas to have a few chickens in their backyard. Now, these people were probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 generations removed from farming, so I'm not sure whether it was forgotten knowledge or never learned knowledge, but they didn't know anything about taking care of chickens. Now, a lot of my friends that live in urban areas that are non-farmers, and yes, I do have a few of those, they would call me for advice on how to raise chickens. I never took a poultry class in college, but we've had chickens for several years and know a little bit about them. First thing they wanted to know was how many should they have? I said, well, how many eggs a day do you like to eat? And they said, well, I don't know. How often do chickens have eggs? And I said, well, when they're laying, they have them every day. 1 egg per hen. Well, that was a surprise to them. They thought they only had an egg every few weeks or something, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, I informed them of that. And they said, well, how many roosters do we need? And again, I informed them that you really don't have to have roosters to produce eggs. The hens will lay eggs whether a rooster is around or not. You can't produce chicks unless you have a rooster around to fertilize the eggs. Well, some of them thought it would be fun to raise some baby chicks, so one couple I knew went out and bought a rooster and brought it home, put it with a dozen hens, and then they decided that maybe that was overworking the rooster, so they went and got a second rooster and put in there. They called me back in a few days and said, you know, those roosters fought until to the point that one of them actually killed the other one. And I said, well, roosters are like any other male. You put 2 bulls together, they'll fight. You put 2 stallions together, they'll fight. You put 2 boar hogs together, they'll fight. 2 roosters together, one of them wants to show his dominance and have all the hens for himself, and they will fight the other one. It's unusual that they would fight to the death, domesticated chickens, but they will. And I asked this couple, I said, have you ever heard of the term cockfighting? And they had, and they thought it was very barbaric. But that reminded me of a story. When I first got out of college, I started teaching high school agriculture at a small rural school way back in the heart of the Missouri Ozarks. Really wonderful people, but they had a culture kind of all their own. And these people weren't very accepting of people who moved in from out of their areas, such as the new ag teacher. And this area was very isolated geographically. There was not a lot of social activity, and besides the school and the churches, there really wasn't any, except one group every Sunday afternoon would gather at a different farm, not every Sunday, but every week or two, and fight their game roosters, cockfighting. Now, I'm trying to fit in to this community, so I attended a few of them. And it was quite a social event. The kids would go in the backyard and play. The women folk would gather in the house and talk and cook and share meals, things like that. And the men would go down to the barnyard and they would fight their game roosters. And it was quite an event. Well, one of the animal rights groups up, I think in the St. Louis area, got wind of this and decided that they would want to put a stop to it and come and rescue these chickens. So they called the county sheriff in that county and said, we understand that there's a group of people in your community that gather a lot of Sunday afternoons and sanction cockfights. The sheriff said, yes, I understand that's probably true. And they said, well, we would like to come down and have you raid this Sunday's cockfight. And the sheriff, there was kind of a long silence, and he said, well, ma'am, I'd rather not raid this Sunday's cockfight because it's at my farm this Sunday. Well, she didn't like that answer, so she called the State Highway Patrol and talked them into raiding where now she knew the cockfight was going to be held. And I was there, and I remember this farm set back off the main highway quite a little bit, had kind of a gravel dirt lane down to it. And I saw the patrol car coming with their lights on, and immediately following them was a brand new flatbed truck, aluminum bed, stacked 3 or 4 cages high with brand new stainless steel bird cages. And so they put an end to the cockfight, and these representatives of the animal rights group started gathering up these fighting roosters and putting them, they were going to take them back to St. Louis to a sanctuary. And they started putting them in these cages on the truck, 2 roosters to a cage. They had forgotten knowledge too. And I can guarantee you at least half of those roosters did not survive the trip to St. Louis. So whether it's forgotten knowledge or unlearned knowledge, that was a lesson that they had to learn the hard way. Folks, thanks for watching today. Hope you tune in next time for Forgotten Knowledge. See you then.